Hey y'all, it's Steph, and I'm going to explain to you right now why we're doing the GoFundMe. And that's a man behind me, that's not my hair, doing weird stuff. Um, okay, so how we got where we are right now. That's such a long story. Okay, it started out in Corsicana. Coleman and I got engaged. We were moving to Burleson. He and I went through my apartment and we looked at everything that we were going to have two of. Like there was going to be two like vacuum cleaners. There's going to be two washer dryers. There's going to be all of this stuff. And people were messaging me on Facebook, asking me, hey, how much do you want for the washer and dryer or whatever? And I was saying, since I wasn't going to need money anymore, according to him, that's what I thought because he told me that. I said I left my apartment open and sent messages to people that were asking me, said, come get what you want, we're leaving it. And we moved to Burleson, and I guess everything was okay for a month. I guess it was, I don't know how long it was. It's very hard for me to know the span of time here because it was such a stressful situation. It was very traumatic for me. So it's hard for me to know, like, whenever you could ask me how many days were you there or whatever. I have no idea. I have a hard time remembering that kind of detail right now. But anyway, whenever the police came, it was the SWAT team, and they were there, and he was arrested and everything. Then they took him to jail, and I had no idea anybody was going to bail him out. His wallet was still in the apartment, and I wasn't going to give it to anyone, not his mama, not as anybody. So I figured nobody was going to go up there and bail him out. And the next day he's banging on the door. Me and the kids are hiding in the bathroom because, I obviously did not know this person. And, not the true him. So the police come, they say you have to let him in. I'm like, cool, I will stay in the back. I want a cop by the door. So there was a police officer by the door, and we were hidden in the boys' room. And he was getting stuff out of there, and it was cool to me. I didn't care. I left the engagement ring out for him to get, and he didn't. But that he was getting his stuff, and then he wanted to stay there. And the police officers told me there's no way that you can keep him out of the house. So I said, can he give me a couple of days? I think it was a couple of days. And the police officers negotiated a couple of days. I don't know what day it was, but they negotiated it until Monday. And then he'd come back because I didn't want to be there with him. And I didn't have the right to keep him out of his apartment. It was his apartment. He had signed the lease, and it was my apartment, even with children that were minors. So I asked, what do I do? And they said, well, pack a bag. And I asked, and they told my kids to start packing a bag. It's like, right? Anyway, so we got some stuff packed. I called my dad, and I think he said that he was coming the next day. I don't remember the time span again. He shows up, and he has an Avalanche, and it's got one of those black things over the bed of the truck where we put stuff underneath it. We had put some stuff underneath it, and we put the kids' TVs in the back seats so that they would have that, and their PlayStation. And in my van, my minivan, we put some stuff around the kids, like in the back where nobody sits. And we kind of got some stuff. What we got was stuff that was important to them. But what we had left behind in Corsicana was Elizabeth's entire bed, including her mattress and everything, and then the boys' bed frames. So we do have beds that we're using for them. But the thing that shocked me was Elizabeth had a bed that Coleman had given her, and he had taken that. I don't know why he'd need it in jail. But anyway, that was tacky. I shouldn't have said that. But he, after I left, he gave the key to his ex-wife. And I guess they figured I wasn't coming back to the apartment for, maybe I said I wasn't. I don't know. But she and whoever she was with, whenever they were in there, I ended up with a whole bunch of stuff missing. And a whole bunch of stuff. So whenever I came later on, whenever the lease was almost up, somebody had sent me a message and said, look, I want to come and help you. And they got a moving truck, a U-Haul for a few hours, and we got some stuff, not all that, and put it into the little storage building that I could afford. So I could afford like a tiny storage building, and we put some stuff in there. But before we did that, we went into the apartment. All kinds of stuff was missing. I couldn't tell you what all was missing. And she did bring back some of it. And, I can figure out what all was missing. But some of the kids' stuff was broken. It was thrown on the floor and just broken. And, there are videos of the damage that I walked into. So much of my 11-year-old daughter's stuff is gone. Just stuff that was hers. But whenever we were moving, since there were only 2 of us moving in, it was me and my friend, and then Sam somewhat, my 14-year-old, and then Elizabeth wasn't really helping a lot because I think she was just like really depressed, and she was just sitting there sad. And my mother was there, but my mother had a broken hip at the time, so I mean, like, what could she do, right? So we are loading up this truck, and we got as much stuff as we could fit in the tiny little storage building that I can afford. And I never even really got to like the things that we really need, like cups, glasses, that kind of stuff. Like there's all that kind of stuff that we didn't have, like silverware, towels and stuff like that. We are borrowing towels, we're borrowing cups, we're borrowing anything. Basically, there's so much stuff is just borrowed. And we're using it for a while, but we, where am I in this? It's like my story is just everywhere because it's so crazy. So I did end up staying with my dad, and while I was at my dad's, I did get, some clothes for the kids so they could get their school year started, and we got like shoes for everybody. Everybody's got their shoes. The kids all have shoes, and somebody got them some backpacks. And we got some school supplies, but we don't have all the school supplies. And in so many ways, I feel like I feel so stupid for trusting in someone and letting go of my life that I had. Because I mean, it wasn't great, but I had my stuff. I mean, we had our apartment, everything was fine, and everything's fine now, but I don't know. I don't know how someone could know that they were being investigated for possession of child pornography. He's in prison now. He got convicted on 34 counts. It's all public records. His name's Coleman Baker. Well, his first name is George. But it's all public records. Like you can go look and see 34 counts. And he didn't tell me. How do you not tell somebody that whenever they're moving their entire life and their children into your home or our home together? Because actually he moved and I moved. He just moved to a different apartment in the same complex. I moved to a different town. And then to let us give away our things in that way, like to people who needed it, and to tell us that we'd never be in a position where we needed anything anymore. Yeah, we're in a much worse position than we were then, I think, because anyway, I appreciate it. I appreciate people who listen. I appreciate people who watch. I appreciate people who message me, and I really appreciate the people who contributed. I just felt like I needed to give some kind of an explanation of why we're doing this, and God, I rambled for 9 minutes all over the place. It's hard to remember the exact timeline of events. It's been a terrible year, but it is getting better. It's just there's so much, that we just don't have right now. And that's it. I don't know what else to say. We're making it. We're live. We're well. Everybody's okay. But it's like that's my biggest regret, is trusting somebody. And I think it'll be a very long time before and if I ever trust anybody again. I think that's understandable. I mean, think about all of the things he was. He was a minister. He was an elementary school teacher. He was a professor. He was, you know, he wrote a book. He, all of these things. And at the same time, he was in possession of at least 34 images of what they said to me. The detective told me that he liked girls in the prepubescent stage. Isn't that funny that my daughter was 11? Not really funny. I mean, there's nothing funny about it, but you know. Anyway, that is our story, and it's gone on 10.5 minutes, and I think I need to just be quiet now. Much love, you guys. Keep on smiling, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.